This is Pinferno Premium for 2020. Hey everybody, my name's Scott. I am a partner at Storm and the founder and lead designer of Pinferno 3D Digital Pinball. I gotta say, this video is almost not only presenting our 2020 premium model, but I really want to thank you. There's been a bit of a cult following behind these machines, and there's been so much great people we've been able to meet and associate with. The few people who've been critics has been, you know, one or two out of hundreds. We've taken everybody's feedback and we've put it all into this machine. Let's take a walk around. And this machine is actually going to go to a really great client of ours who's been just fantastic. Thanks to him, he helped us make the first option that you'll notice, the new Decals. The first thing that we've got is brand new, cool blue Pinferno Decals that you can see there. That's now an option in addition to the default red hot. And we're also going to be making a black version. I should also say, everything that's been built into this machine, for this machine, has been done deliberately. So the first thing is the scale. If you notice, this is just about, well, sorry, I shouldn't say just about. It's painstakingly accurate exactly to the classic machines of the early 90s made by Williams. I've been a pinball fanatic since the early 80s with Cyclone and the Getaway, and I appreciate the aficionados who know what it should feel like. And from the moment that you look at the actual Williams lockdown bar to the actual Williams legs, even to the coin door, you'll notice that it's the real thing. Even the positioning of the flippers, we measured it exactly. We took 1 million measurements before we built this. Even the hinges are the real thing. The way that we built the back glass, same kind of thing. Even the trim. Funny thing with this trim, we put on an aluminum edging on here. That is to modernize it. The actual Williams machines are not. They're just an exposed wood. And we had a critic who said, it looks unfinished, it looks so rough. We had a couple people say that, and to them I thought, well, unfortunately you're not really familiar with how pinball really is. But the sad fact is that with modern machines, that's kind of become the norm. And so seeing it not finished was a little bit weird, so we decided to wrap that up for those people. But yeah, it's all a tribute to the 80s. It wouldn't be fair to have Knight Rider sitting right here in pieces. We're working on him, and not respect the 80s. So let's keep on going here. Again, everything is done by design. So as soon as you open up the coin door, you see inside, there's little things. One critic said, you know, how come you didn't solder up the wires here? Well, that's really simple. Why would we solder and pinch and crimp and organize meticulously every wire inside of our machine? Like, the cable management is beautiful. Why would we do that? But just decide, what, it's a Friday, we're going to go home early? No, we did that because if somebody was to open this too hard, or when they went to use the lockdown bar, I'll get to that in a second, maybe their hand got caught on the cable. If it pulls, it'll just pull it out, and it's very easy to restring it, as opposed to having a soldered joint that could potentially rip out a, wire midway or something like that. Having said that, it's still very solid. Back to that lockdown bar, guess what? Actual latches, just like the real thing. Locks down to. Your glass, 3/16 tempered glass, just like the old school machines. It's been said that a 200-pound person could stand on them. The flippers, competition grade, over 1 million clicks on them. Also, whoops, I guess I should open up that coin door again, because on the premium, as you know, when you hit the flipper, what do you get? A knocky solenoid. I'm just going to actually say one more thing on the construction of this. I'm going to assume that the people who are watching this video are people who know their pinball machines. They know their digital pinball. I'll make a separate video for people introducing digital pinball. But for those who know it, you know about solenoids and how it all works out. And so one of the questions I actually had was, I had a person say to me, is that hot glue that you use to put the solenoid onto the panel with? And the answer is yes. In fact, we use hot glue not only there, but on our camera, which I'll get to in a second. Why would we do something so apparently amateur? Well, the reason why is because when we pressure tested the solenoids, and believe me, we did, just wailing on them. If you use the little tiny screws that are meant to screw into there, they grab on maybe 1/8 of an inch. Just the knocking and the vibration is going to knock them loose, and they're horribly cheap. And you're going to be spending more time digging in there to fix a solenoid than with the hot glue, which literally melts right onto the wood and wraps all around and goops in on the solenoid. And it hasn't moved at all. And again, we've hit these so hard that we've actually blown out a solenoid, and even the solenoids still hold up when they're blown out because they screw back on. Let's move along. So I talked about the legs, genuine, Williams, chrome. Even the power switch, we measured exactly where it should be to get that right feel, because we know that people like to reach, to that spot, and they expect the switch to be there, and it is. It's that momentary switch that you know and love. Our decals are, I'll say, automotive grade. They actually have a self-healing ability. Heaven forbid it gets cut or scratched or something like that. You take yourself a heat gun just like this, and in a few seconds, about maybe 8 to 10, you can heat it up and you could repair. It would just basically fuse itself. You can repair the crack. Of course, if it gets too bad, we can just replace it very easily, because of the fact that we put screws where there needs to be screws, and only where there needs to be screws, so that if you had to take it apart, you could. I hope you don't. But that brings me to my next point. Coming around the back, you can customize it. Inside of it, it's just a computer, a regular computer. But the difference is, with this computer, we've beefed it up from our previous model. We've got a higher end power supply, we've got bigger CPU, more RAM, still using a solid state hard drive, but then we've also got a beefier video card. And when you see that in a second, I think you'll really appreciate the extra care it's taken into it. Of course, exhaust fan right here, giganto intake fan inside, and it makes the thing like a fridge in there. It's a very, very cold day in March right now, early March, here in central Canada. I don't know why, but like, it is so cold out there, my hands are like frigid right now. All right, coming on back. We've got the camera, as I've said, and same thing. We actually use hot glue to position it in place, and that's because we don't know. We ask our clients, what is your height? And we will program the camera to their height. But if they want to adjust it or something, all they have to do is just like a Williams machine, you pop this, you lift this panel up, lift the DMD panel up, the glass comes out of the track right here, and the whole thing comes forward, and you can easily adjust the camera if need be. Speaking of, we wanted to find a balance of performance and of features. We knew there were certain things that you just can't cut corners on. Again, like this quality lockdown bar, that kind of thing. But there was other things that people have asked us. They said, can I get a plunger instead of the fire button? A plunger, from our research, a good plunger, minimum $200 to add on. And you can press the fire button a little bit more or a little bit less, a little bit longer, and you'll get the same action of the plunger going back. So sure, I guess you don't get the authentic feel, but you know what? If you wanted to add one, you could easily take this and swap it out. Do it on your own. You can swap out the TV, you can swap out the computers, you can do anything you want with these things. So if nothing else, it's a platform. On that note, let's talk about the software itself. As you can see, we're using Hyperpin as our menu. We did that because we have license to use it commercially. Also because it's just so darn pretty. The only bad side about Hyperpin is that it takes a little bit longer to load tables through Hyperpin than it does through other ones. If you just open the machine directly through the software, then it would work a lot easier. So as we scroll through, we're going to go through and 22 tables that come through. I'll make a video later about all of them. I'm going to show you Junkyard Cats because that's the video, or the table, sorry, that we played on our last demo on the 2019 unit. And I think you're going to see something that you're going to like. So here's the load time. And again, what's happening right now is HyperPin has to go to its database, indicate what files does it need, then it has to load them, trigger the simulator software, which is Future Pinball. We'll talk about that in a second. And then after that, it has to kind of overlay and load it. So it's almost like it's loading it twice, but then it does come. Now you're probably noticing, wait a second, where's the sound? I left that off intentionally because we keep the sound controls right here. So all I have to do is just reach this. I can press the power button and we will have sound. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. There we go. I've also got the keyboard and mouse here hooked up. That's because I want to show you the next feature. So I'll just go right here and I'll put in a quarter. There we go. And I'll press start.
Welcome to nowhere, pussycat.
All right. Now, some people say, oh, I don't think it's 3D enough. I don't like the look. It's not deep enough or whatever. Again, thank you for that feedback. So what I wanted to show was, if you don't like it, you can change it. We have an arcade mode here, better arcade mode. And what we can do is we can change the way that the table is rendered. See how it's following my body right there? Again, it's set up for a person who's around 5'10". And again, if you don't like what you're seeing, then go ahead and change it. You can change the scale. People say it's not deep enough. Okay, let's make it deeper. Watch that. See it getting deeper? Deeper, 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 deeper. See, I can go as long as I want. Now, I'm not going to go that crazy. I'm going to go about 3.5, but I can do something like that. I can change the width of it. I can do so much stuff. I can stretch it out, bring it in, all sorts of things. I can do anything with this thing. I can set the back box dimensions. I can set, hell, I can set the brightness of the ball if I want. All right, now let's talk about playability. That's what you all wanted to see. In our last one, people kind of noticed there was a little bit of they thought there was a little bit of a lag. I don't really think there was, so I'm just going to really prove it here. Watch the flipper, watch my finger. If you're a fast flipper like me, instant. Flipper, solenoid, flipper, are all working. The exact, look, even right there. If you're a slow flipper, it is noticeably improved from the 2019 models. All right, we go to the flipper, play.
It's not over yet.
It's smooth as silk. $50 watts of sound with a subwoofer, crystal clear, and we're at about maybe a third of the max volume right now. We're gonna exit out of that one. Use the flipper. Hit start. There we go. So again, if you're looking at this, you've probably researched different pinball machines, or you're potentially thinking of building your own machine. You're not really sure, or you like one of these and you're trying to decide between this premium with the 4K screen or a 1080. Well, I'm going to show you a little bit of a comparison there as well. So I'm just going to exit, and when I exit here this time, whoops, wrong side, hit on that side. When I exit here this time and hit start, it's going to take me down to Windows. So we've got it set at 4K. Again, it's just a computer, and it's as easy as that. I'm going to change it from the 3840 4K down to 1920. And I'm also going to set in Future Pinball as well, the dimensions. Now I'm going to fire back up Hyperpin. And I'm going to play Junkyard Cats again at 1080. And I'll give you a side-by-side resolution of the previous playing that I was doing versus this one here. Right off the bat, you can see a little bit more pixelation. Okay. It's not a lot. But what matters is, whoops, Junkyard Cats, actual playfield. There we go. So, what do we see? A little bit more pixelation on the flipper right there, as opposed to razor sharp. You can still read everything.
We're busting out of this joint.
Let's look at the ball. It's a little bit more pixelated, right?
It's not over.
So there's a comparison. Now we're going to exit out. Okay, so coming back to our main menu. As we've seen here, there's 22 tables that are included. A lot of times people ask me, can I add more tables? Yes, I have personally put 169 on a machine for personal use. The 22 are what we are licensed to use both personally and commercially. We've talked with the authors who are amazing people, and that's what we're doing. So we're trying to get some exposure for the community who helped us, and we're also trying to keep things legal. There's people have said to me, can you put on other platforms? Does it have to be Future Pinball? You can put on anything you want. You could put on any of the pinball machines. It's just that, of course, the camera there wouldn't work with other ones. We chose Future Pinball because it's an open platform and the 3D works. That's what makes our machines the only of their kind. If we used another one, then first of all, we'd have licensing issues, and secondly, we wouldn't get the 3D effect. What else? People have said, can they just do random stuff with it? You could turn this thing into a jukebox if you want. Anything. It's just a computer, so you can add on to it. You can do anything with it. On that note, another thing, people have said, okay, that's great, I can do all this stuff, but are there instructions? As soon as you exit the Windows, all of our machines right there come with instructions how to install a table. Follow right along. Also, our clients get access to a special portal on our website that has videos on everything from changing light bulbs to doing full maintenance on a Pinferno. So we are here to support you. We've been in business for over 15 years, and it is based entirely on a relationship model. And we intend to keep that going and also give back to the community that has done so much for us, inspiring us. So that is Pinferno Premium. I think that the performance upgrades, the little extra touches, the new decals, and of course the great scale matching the 80s is going to be a real hit. And I can also just about guarantee you are not going to find a virtual pinball machine at this price point either. Check out our website for those prices. We have 3 models, of course: the Premium, the Classic, and the Mini. As of 2020, who knows what's going to be coming next? Hint, hint, something's coming next. Shipping, we can ship anywhere in North America. We are based out of Central Canada. We offer training, lots of different add-ons. You can customize it. You can buy a packaged version. I want to thank you very much for watching. It's been quite a journey since 2017 when we released these things. It started in 2016 in the fall with our R&D, and we spent about 6 months just researching before we even created the first cabinet, and launching it in 2017 and then releasing the premium in late 2018, the mini in 2019, and now this upgraded premium in 2020. We're just coming along, getting better, and it's all thanks to your awesome feedback, your questions, your ideas. We're going to keep on building these things as long as there's interest in them. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and by all means, pinfernopinball.com. Check us out. Ask any more questions. Tell all your friends. Refer your friends. We take care of people who take care of us. We'll see you soon.